Hello and welcome to Ajuwaya on ABN Radio and Television. This is the program that brings stories, advice, and inspiration to every core member serving here in Abia State. My name is Ajuwaya Odelola and I am your host. We've got two amazing segments lined up for you today. The first segment, we have guests in the studio to educate us on the topic, how can youth contribute to solving societal issues? How can youth contribute to solving societal issues? While the second segment, we have a special person that will be taking us on leadership, mentorship, and solutions to them in these contemporary times that we have. So before we go into what we have today, we're going to go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Experience this smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABN Radio and Television. Now moving into what we have for you today, we have two amazing people in the studio that will be taking us on the topic, how can youth contribute to societal issues? Let me just give them the floor to introduce themselves. Let me start with you.
Wonderful. My name is Lucky Ajuwaya and I'm a core member serving in Abia State, batch B stream 1.
Okay, and you?
I am Rachel Ovenloba, a core member serving in Abia State as well, and I am batch A stream 2.
Senior corps.
Okay, so let me just dive straight into the topic. What do you think are some of these societal issues that we're currently facing here in Nigeria? I'll start with you, obviously.
Okay, we have lots of issues currently that are actually affecting the citizens. We have economic issues, we have health issues, we have environmental issues, and we have educational issues. In terms of economy, we have high rate of unemployment that is ravaging the youth of the society, and this has become a major concern. And most Nigerian youth are now seeking help from fraud. So they go into fraud and so that they can survive daily. And we also see educational issues. We have a lot of educational issues because, first of all, we have low level of allocation, financial allocation to our federal institutions, and you see most people, they complain that they go to school but they don't get a job, or sometimes they still bounce their certificate despite being maybe some persons they graduate with first class, but when you go for job they bounce their certificates.
Yeah, sorry. So you know that it's the same people that say they don't get jobs that some of our employers out there say this present youths, they are unemployable.
Yeah, so I was driving towards that part because I said low allocation. This is because they are not trained within that period of 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. They don't train the youth or the students on being employable. We just go there to read, write theories and cram theories, then we graduate. So actually that's a major issue. So in some schools, if you are studying some particular courses, you have to get your materials. But in most state schools, let me put that, in most state and federal schools, you see, you just go, even in some private schools too, you just once you pay your school fees, all they do is for them to just grade you. Sometimes some people buy a certificate. So those persons are not employable. They cannot be employable. Even in Western countries, people that are in basic schools can do better than what a graduate in Nigeria can do. This is as a result of a low financial allocations to those sectors for them to get the right equipment to train an employable student.
Okay, thank you for that. Rachel, do you have anything to say on this same thing?
On what he has just spoken about, or like moving forward?
On what he has just spoken about.
Okay.
I think you were saying when he was making some comments.
He said something about students, not being employable in the sense that you go to school and then you just, because of what they teach, obviously you see a science that does not even know basic practical, like basic.
It's absurd. It's sad.
I don't even know what they call those things they do. No. Like you see a science student supposedly that cannot even do those little things, and you wonder. Well, you went to school and you probably studied chemistry or physics or something in that line of study, but you come out and then these basic things, and it's not even their fault. It is because of the environment they find themselves. They just teach them, tell them, just show them, okay, this is a pipette, this is that, and that is all, and then they bring. And then they tell you, oh, you are having like physics practical exam, and then they bring, you don't even see the things that you are supposed to be practicalizing with. So it becomes a problem, and then you don't exactly blame them and say, oh, they are not employable, because when you even look at it and you look at how they have been trained, or like the environment that they find themselves in while they are trying to learn, you realize that it is not conducive. It does not provide enough facilities that will be able to aid their learning, and as such, they come out as what we have them today.
This particular education system that we're talking about, there are some people living in places in Nigeria that they don't actually really know the value, or will I say they don't really see the value of this education. Yes. So on speaking to those type of people, what would you have to say that, okay, parents that maybe they see that, okay, business is actually something that brings money, and that is what majority of Nigerians are looking into after that money.
So I believe we've stated this in one of our program here. I don't know if I did, but I think if we can transform our notion from this statement that education gives you financial success to education becomes makes you makes you a smart individual. Makes you it removes you from ignorance.
He opens the door, but it will not take you there.
It can still take you there, but the bottom line is that you need to open that door first.
Exactly what
for you to be able to get there. So that is it. If we can change that notion, because most persons, and the family is a basic level from which we get our knowledge, right from a kid to adult. So most people, even when they are grown, they still respect their parents. So if our parents can understand that the children need this education, even those in the village. The problem now is we have information limitation. There's a communication gap between urban areas and rural areas. So now we also need to focus on how do we get this information to those people, to let them know that education is important, not because it gives you financial success, but it is necessary for we to have an informed society. Because if we can remove ignorance from Nigeria, that's why they make that statement. If you want to write anything from Nigeria, put inside a book.
They will never read.
They will never find it. So if we are educated, they wouldn't make that statement. So that is it. So if we can build that notion in our mind, we will have an informed society that even without we can even assist the government and give relevant ideas to the government on how we can solve certain societal issues. That is it. That's my own take.
All right, Rachel, sorry, let me ask you this question. Based on the fact that government supports NYC now, for example, there is this particular thing we do in camp that you win money if your business plan is this thing.
Where banks
come together. Yes, that particular thing is actually a way to encourage students. What about there are some people that are in the grassroots section in Nigeria that they don't. Not like government is not reaching their side, but they are not really paying much attention to them because they don't have access to television, to things like radio, to things like social media and stuff like that. So and that's why I think that is where majority of these crimes in Nigeria, that's where they come in place. So in that type of setting, what do you think the government can do, or we as youth, to reach those particular people?
Okay, so first of all, I'll begin with the government, because the government has more funding leverage than we do as youth. So I don't know if we know what a community radio is called. A community radio is a kind of radio that is accessible to people at the grassroots level. Now they do not have to do too much. They don't really need to, go into all these serious things that actual radio stations do, but their own is just to ensure that they bridge the gap between the government and so if the government can take time to actually establish these community radios in certain communities and in this little
settlement,
so you see situations where now these people that work in these community radios are people like themselves that can speak and understand the language of the people that dwell in that community. You cannot, try to, for example, in Umuahia, let's say we're trying to, establish a community radio in a community here. We cannot bring somebody who does not speak the language of these people and say, come and take charge. It would not work out. aim and the objective for that particular course will not be achievable.
Yes.
Exactly. So that is one. So if the government can, provide funds to create a community radio or a community newspaper that can be able to
newspaper might be too
help
far,
with,
but
yeah, it
just
might be
give
far
something.
it might be far-fetched, but I mean, if it is written in their language, I'm sure that some of them will be able to read it.
Sure,
It doesn't have to be in English.
Yes.
Whatever language that they understand at that particular time and place, do you understand?
Yes.
But still, if the government is able to, reach out and do one of those things, because in the end, it's all information we are trying to pass on to those
Yes.
people. So if those avenues are created, people become informed. They understand that, oh, this particular thing is taking place at this particular time, and it becomes an avenue for you to, move forward in life. For example, there was this core member that passed out sometime, I think in batch C, that did this initiative where he created. There was a community service development he did for what they
50
call it?
widows,
Yeah,
50
widows and all.
street children, yeah.
Now, if in the process of trying to communicate, you see how he reached out.
Yes.
They used little means, in fact, the tiniest means and the littlest means you can think of to communicate to this, because most of those widows, you realize, they cannot even speak English. Most of those children, but he was able to reach out. So that is the thing. There are people that are also willing. So if somehow there are youths that are willing to volunteer.
Yes, definitely.
So the thing is that most of us do not have these funds. We do not have this motive. We don't have the push. There's nobody to, push people to do certain things. This person came out of his own free will and did it. Some of us, if we have the money, or if we have the funding, or the push, the backup, a motivator, a motivating factor, we'll be able to do some of these things that, we already have in store. So I feel like some youth, because they do not have that motivating factor, they just, I have this idea in mind, but like I do not know the right people to go to. Or even if I know the right people to go to, my idea will be stored to whenever. Exactly. You will not even have access to the right people. So it becomes a problem, and then everybody is just you. So if community radios, community newspapers can be provided by the government, I feel like it will be able to at least serve a purpose and bridge the gap. I mean, it might not entirely eradicate the problem, but that is a step forward. And for youth, we can always volunteer if we can speak whatever dialect in the places where we find ourselves. We can also help to inform the people.
Okay, thank you for that. Actually, Lucky. Okay, this question is for you actually. Speaking of these young people that we've been talking about since morning, how do you now encourage them? Because we can see that based on these problems that Rachel mentioned, the government is not really, they help at times, but they are not really pushing it. You get? So people that have those type of ideas, how can they be encouraged to bring such a thing out?
Okay, I think we as youth, we as Nigerian youth, we first of all need to, like I said before, the major drive in our society now is let's make money.
Yeah,
true.
So if we can now calm down, and first of all, let's think about making a better society. Making a better society will definitely give us more money. Sure, when you have a better society, employment will be there, everything will fall in place. But our minds have been so transformed because we need to survive because of the harsh nature of our economy. That's another issue we are currently facing. So now to encourage those young persons, like I said before, we just need to first of all work on our mindset. Let's transform our mindset. Let's build a better society. And the government still have to do something. But now, let's look at NSAS protest. Did any government official come to motivate the youth to go out for artism? But people came out, and the protest also happened in August last year. People also came out, So if we have that mindset that we can fight for a better society, for an informed society, we can also do through social media platform, also advocate for it and do our different form of activism for an informed society. So those celebrities sometimes they support those protests.
Yes, they
so
do.
those celebrities can also be a motivating factor. Then the government cannot see reasons with us. The reason why you see because when we do protests, the government actually see reasons with, okay, why are they protesting? Let's see how we can resolve the issue. But if the government sees that, oh, they are protesting because they want an informed society, they are protesting because they want the people in rural areas to be informed about what's going on in society. They are protesting because they want a better Nigeria. They want to, so this this social issue to be solved. It makes sense. Yeah. What we achieve by protesting for NSAS projects, we can also achieve it if we protest for a positive thing. So that same X or Twitter that they use to advocate, motivate, mobilize youth for those protests, they can also use it. We as youth can also use those social media platforms for the betterment of the society.
Okay, thank you very much for that enlightening speech that you just gave, that teaching. I was impressed. Okay, so this is the last question actually, and there is this stuff on social media that people talk about that youths are not in decision making processes in Nigeria. Like if you go to the House of Assembly, you only see maybe few or none. I don't know, like people that sit down to discuss, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is the next step we'll do. They are little youths, or if you say they are youths, there maybe above the age of 40 upward. They don't really. I'm just saying, you get. So people are saying that. What do you have to say on that? Like, how can youths be brought into such a system to create this balance, this thing that okay, you have the elders, you have the youths, and you have the other ones. Yeah.
I feel like it might take a while before that is going to happen.
Okay.
Because the thing is that the adults that are in the process of decision making need to want us. Do you understand?
Yeah,
they need to want to accommodate us to be in that process. Okay, so I'm going to give this example. In the last general election, Olumide Oworo, I don't know if you know him,
I know,
was contesting for one of the seats in constituency in Lagos, something of that sort. And I think he was with Labour Party. Yeah, he was with Labour Party.
Yeah.
So a lot of people wanted him to win because they're like, you should not come out this often to, show interest in political. But he did not win. Now, if I was in his shoes, I'm sure that I'm not going to want to contest again, because it just shows that the people there do not want the youth to be there. So you now see a lot of youth that they have, they actually want to be there, they have the desire, but because of the fact that they feel like if I want to do this, if I try to participate, I would not get the chance to air my views.
Sorry, speaking on this Olumide Oworo's matter, someone said something and the person was like, you can't just come in like just spring forth like that. Do you get like you have to be experienced. Do you get like follow, have something like a mentor or someone that you're following. You know all these people that win governorship positions, they will obviously
godfather.
Not like having a godfather.
Actually
the like because
like having something like that.
Exactly, a godfather.
So like just having someone that's maybe that is introducing you to it. So there are steps to take. A newborn baby now cannot just start walking. There are processes. You get. So someone was saying that he did not win because of the fact that he just like.
I wouldn't know. We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know actually.
I just gave it as an example because that is what youths have seen, and they are like, oh, these people don't want us here. So why do we care? Exactly. Another thing is, I don't know. We are not in the mind of adults. But I think that they have this particular notion of youth. There's a way they see us. There's a way they see us. Our brains have not matured. And, we have not gotten there yet. And I don't know when we are going to get there. Because we keep
we have to be introduced into the system
we get
now.
older. But because if you we're going too far. Let's take like our family, for example. You know that it will get to a particular stage in life when you have grown. Your parents start involving you in decision makings of the house. Before they take certain decisions, they're like, you're no longer a child. Even from when you're like 18, 19, 20, they already start telling you that you have to. So I feel like if that was the case in the society, maybe even if we are not, in top positions, but if we are just carried along, we are just at the grassroots, we are just there. Somebody is, we want to participate and they want to allow us to participate, then it would make so much sense. But because our adults, maybe they see us that our brains are not mature, we are not ripe, and I don't know when we are going to be ripe. But that is just, I feel like that's maybe one of the ideologies they have about us, and so they just don't give us the opportunity to want to showcase.
Do you have any last things to say?
I totally agree with what she has said, and I also agree with the other thing you said about it, that you need to follow a process. You need to follow a process, because if you observe closely in Nigeria, our democratic structure, it's it's structural. Let me just put it that way. They have a structure that we follow. Yes.
Structure. Yes.
This party has a structure. This other party has a structure.
Yeah.
So every party has their own structure. And for you to get to the system, it takes a lot of time. And that time, you are not getting younger.
Exactly.
If I enter the political system today, I'll probably not be the president overnight.
Obviously.
I probably need to be a PA, personal assistant, then maybe senior advisor. So from there, that period of time, you spend 2 years as a personal assistant, 2 years as a senior advisor, then maybe 2 years councillor, 2 years local government chairman. Yeah, it is going and going and going and going. But like what you said, they need to carry us along from the start, so that let's know what we are doing. So it's not that when eventually they will definitely go. When they grow old, older than this, we will definitely need to be there to run the affairs of society. Is this how we are going to do it? So I think that's a loophole on their part. So they should try as much as possible to involve the youth in the political system. The student union government is a very good platform, but if they can encourage those persons that participate in student union politics more, maybe carry them, those that participated in different arms of different political arms in school, find a way to involve them in certain political units of the society, so that they will begin to understand the system of mainstream politics. But you see some persons, after doing their school political stuff, they end up selling something in the street. That's it.
Just go back like normal people.
They just go back like normal people. Politics are too much. That they add that fire in them. So the strength that they use and the wisdom that they use to control the activities on campus, if they build it will get to a stage they can also control the activities in society. So that's what we actually need to do.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And you have heard it all. I'm going to leave you with this question: is this the way we are going to continue doing it? Is this the way? Well, before we go for the second segment, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you wish to bring your goods and services to the global view? Are you tired of struggling with low patronage? This is the opportunity you've been looking for. ABN TV and Radio is here to offer you accessibility and connect you to the whole world through our limitless windows of advertising. We offer online publication, online television and radio services with a global reach, digital marketing, video and audio advert jingle production, digital studio and event management. In ABN, we give you value for your money. For your advert placements, contact us on 0701 3559600 or send us an email at abnonlinetv@gmail.com. For more information, log on to www.abntv.ng. You can also download our app on your Google Play Store. Download ABN Radio. ABN Online TV and Radio Station, bringing the world closer to you.
Introducing ABN Radio and Television, your new favorite app. Stay informed, entertained, and connected with the latest news, music, and videos from Nigeria and beyond. Download the ABN Radio and Television app now on Google Play and enjoy. Live streaming of news, sports, music, and entertainment programs. On-demand access to your favorite shows and podcasts. Breaking news updates and notifications. Exclusive videos and interviews. Personalized experience with customizable settings. Get started in 3 easy steps. Open Google Play Store on your device. Search for ABN Radio/TV. Click install and start enjoying your new favorite app. Join the ABN Radio/Television community today and stay connected to what matters most.
This is ABN TV, where the world is on your screen, bringing you news like you've never seen. From headlines to highlights, we are your guide. ABN TV. Let's take you for a ride. Your stories, your world, your channel. ABN TV.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABN Radio and Television, and this is Ajuwaya. Moving on to the last segment, we have a wonderful person in the studio with us. He is an international student who earned a degree in information technology from Methodist University College, Ghana. As a mentor and a teacher, he has positively impacted the lives of many through his dedication and expertise. Currently, he serves as the facilitator of the Said Education and Communication class in Abia State, and he continues to inspire and empower others. Mr. Richard, it's so nice to have you in the studio.
When you were literally talking about the profile, I was like, is this me? And then I think I've tried. Oh my God. Wow.
Who else? You are our mentor.
Oh my God.
Mentor. You are our teacher. You inspire me.
Wow.
Let me start with myself. You inspire me.
Oh wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's nice having you here.
I'm so excited to be here, so Ayo. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So, moving into the topic we have today is on leadership and mentorship.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what do you think are the most important traits that a leader should have? Like, if I look at someone now, how will I know that you're a leader?
Well, I feel aside from vision, which is really pronounced there, like out there and everything like that. Aside from vision, and I would say probably maybe love as a leader, because before you can actually lead people, you have to have this level of love for them. You can't really lead people that you hate. If you lead people that you hate, it eventually becomes rulership. And the world is not really looking for rulers anymore. We are looking for leaders. So the one thing I would say is courage. A lot of people have visions. Everybody. In fact, when you ask somebody, oh, what do you want to become? Or probably I want to change the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's vision. They already have a vision in their hearts. Every young child has a vision. But it's courage. And what is courage? Courage is doing this thing, just trying to move without sometimes without even seeing what next, just taking a step at a time. And that's what I've come to realize about people that really change the world. Talk, for instance, Alexander the Great guy, the guy who eventually the Macedon king, that's the Macedonian king. Yeah, his father was doing fine at Macedon, but eventually when this guy got into the system, became a king when his father was murdered at the age of 21. He wanted to take over the world. And how can he do it? It was by courage. His father had that vision, but his father could not achieve it. So that is why I'm saying that as a leader, one of the major things that really works specially, that in fact, if I want to say that really makes world leaders, is courage. Just trying to make sure. And I would also like to talk about Mehmed, the guy that eventually changed Constantinople, that conquered Constantinople. That was some centuries back, and eventually made it Istanbul. This Istanbul we are having in Pakistan and whatever. It was somebody that conquered it. It was actually in the Roman Empire before, when the Romans took over. So it took courage. This guy was 21 years. He never stopped. And the last one I would also say is this laser jet focus. Sometimes, like, things would want to come. At some point, did you know that they gave Alexander the Great, they gave him an opportunity. The Persian king then said, you know what, you're going to marry my daughter. You understand? I will give you my daughter, and I was going to give you about, let's say, like, try to bring the money to. I was going to give you about $1 billion, or let's say about $20 billion. Do you understand? Yeah. And who was Alexandra? Alexandra was just this guy who just had a country, let's say Nigeria compared to America. So the guy was literally ready to fund him, but he said no, and eventually took over. So that's what I would just say courage. Aside from vision and love, I'll say courage, and then laser jet focus. Where are you going to? Where are you going? So you don't settle for less as a leader. Yeah, basically that's what I believe would really help.
Okay, thank you for that. Actually, so as a leader, how do you get to communicate your goals? How do you get to, like, you're a leader now and you want to communicate, this is what I want to achieve. Speaking of Nigeria now, we have a system, and maybe a young person wants to enter that system. How do you communicate your vision that, okay, I'm looking at this, actually, I'm looking to become the president of Nigeria in the next, give yourself a term, in the next so years, I want to become the president of this country. So how do you actually communicate your vision and get people to actually fund that vision, to get people to actually look at it and they see that this is a very nice vision and would like to empower this person?
Well, the other time I made a statement. I said that one of the major ways you can do that is that you let people. I was in an interview the other time and I said that you people have these pounds of selfishness, so you let them know that okay, this is you. When you come into this when you come into the this thing, when you come into the vision, this is what you're going to gain or something like that. But what the other thing I would also say is that let them see your baby step leadership. You understand? Let them trust you. Let them trust you. Let them love you as a leader. But the first thing is that build trust and relationship first. It's not very easy for me to just invest my life into somebody if I've not seen a track record.
Yes, of the person.
Like, okay, so what has Ayo done before?
Yeah.
You understand?
It's allowing me to remember when you're seeking for a job, like when you're applying for a job, they'll tell you to give them a portfolio to show that, something like that.
That literally just says everything. And the other thing I would also say personally, is that be a leader that and how do people really trust you? I want to just say something about that. How do people really trust you is when they know that you recognize and you reward a particular thing. Like, learn to reward and recognize something that is positive in your team. You understand? That is when they can now say that, okay, I think we can trust this man. And then literally, for instance, one of the major things I've realized, what does Nigeria really reward? I'm sorry to say, but this is the honest truth. Nigeria rewards sexuality. They reward a lady. Like, watch our Instagram, whatever now. You see that even when they want to advertise soap now, you understand? The lady will first do a bomb like this. Then when you enter into the page, you're like, oh, she now shows you, oh, I'm here to advertise soap. That is what we are. This is what we are literally. How should I say it now? We are rewarding. I'm looking forward to a time, and honestly, it's not far from now when they want to secondary school children want to advertise their school. Then you see them, probably some of them will open their chest, some of them will do their bum like this. Then they're like, once you enter into the video, you're like, hey everyone, we are welcoming you to, I don't want to mention the secondary school or something like that. It's getting to that stage. The reward system of Nigeria or of a person shows how people will trust him. What are you rewarding in your organization? What are you rewarding as a leader? It really shows a lot. For instance, in China, one of the major things that they reward is hard work. Do you understand? Is hard work. And that is why even TikTok, I learned TikTok, a Chinese started TikTok, but it's not really making wave in China. I don't know if you get it. So that means they are not rewarding entertainment like that. I don't know if you get it. Talk less of sexuality. But in Nigeria, what do we really reward? The best people that really make more money are the people that are into probably
celebrities, entertainment.
Do you get it? So basically, that's one of the major things also that builds trust as a leader.
Okay, thank you very much for that knowledge words. And actually, there is this question I also want to ask you, and based on the fact that as a leader, obviously you meet people from different backgrounds. Different cultural space, different homes that they grew up from. You meet something like in Nigeria now. We have various ethnic groups, various tradition, cultures, and various languages spoken. So in that type of place, how does a leader actually bring in people? Like, how does he embrace everyone to actually work for him, or to push that his vision to those particular people? And some will see your vision as something that okay, they would like to go into, and some will see it as this looks like it's not supposed to be for me. So how do you, what is a leader's approach to that type of thing? What should be a leader?
I think if I really got your question right, is how can you lead like
people from different
culture, different background, different nationality, and everything. Like, the first thing is tolerance, because you yourself, you're actually a person of a nationality. For instance, I'm a Nigerian and I want to lead the whole of Africa. You understand? There are some people in Africa, for instance, where I'm from. When you want to greet someone, you have to prostrate. You understand? Some people where I'm from, probably where they have to call me Mr. or something, Mr. Richard or whatever, before they could greet me or say, hey, Mr. Richard, how are you doing? But there are some people I will lead in the team and they call me Richard. You understand? So I have to tolerate, okay, this is where this person is from. Some places they shake hands. You understand? Something like that happened to a world leader you know, the world leader, where he's coming from, they don't shake women. You understand? But the women, she's a Westerner, so she didn't know all those things. So she stretched hands to him, and he had to probably,
yes, because it's going to be embarrassing. That person is not used
to
that
get it now. So it's tolerance, like and you're trying to understand the person. And I would also say is being open-minded. You know, some of us actually have this prejudice of a particular place, because of some of us where we are coming from. It could be like the Hausa people are naturally this. It could be that the Igbos are naturally this. The Yorubas are naturally hypocrites or something like that. The Igbos are naturally rude. All those unnecessary prejudices. You will not be able to lead.
Yeah.
You understand? And that happens to me in my team. You know, in the team also that I lead. You know, where you get to see people from. There's this particular set of tribe that they always love to speak their language. And well, no problem. No, I wouldn't mention the name of the tribe.
Yeah.
They love to speak their language a lot. And then so the other,
everyone feel left out.
Many
people feel left
literally.
out.
Yes. So what I would just say is that tolerance and then open-mindedness, and that is why we call some people father of nationalism. For instance, Albert Macaulay. Albert Macaulay is literally a father of they call him, that's what they call him now, father of nationalism. And what did he do? Now Albert Macaulay, after his wife died, started I don't think there's any state in Nigeria that Albert Macaulay didn't actually have a mistress from. He was marrying everybody that he could marry or something like that. And talk about not just about Macaulay, so some of those people that are led. Abraham Lincoln, do you get it? Abraham Lincoln was able to bring the north and the southern part of America together. You understand? And even like abolish this slave trade stuff. He was the one who started it. So he didn't just bring south and north together alone. He also even brought the black to America, like to make them actually have a legal stay in America or something like that. So like the thing I just feel is being open-minded, and also the second one I would also say is that you should try as much as possible to be tolerant or something. So basically that's the two I'll just give for that.
Okay, thank you for that. Actually, there is this violence. Speaking of violence, like obviously you cannot gather people and there will not be misunderstandings once in a while. There will obviously be fights. There will obviously be different type of opinion. So, how do you think like a mentor and a leader can actually tolerate all those things? You spoke about tolerance. So, how will he treat that type of scenario, that violence and that workspace? How does he create a conducive workspace for everybody, not a toxic one?
Well, for me personally, I have come to realize that one of the major ways you could do that as a leader is that you try to make everybody understand that, people can just understand that this person cares.
Yeah.
You understand? Even if they don't want to say it, there are some little demeanor, I mean disposition that you probably give that people are like, no, this boss cares. Even if 70% are actually not, sorry, if 30% are not saying it, because there's no how we even call something 20% to, you understand? Even if 80% are not saying it, some would actually, 20% are not saying it, 80% will say that this boss actually cares. So I feel one of the major ways that you can actually give off positivity in your environment is definitely trying to show love. You understand? Genuinely. And people know when you are leading them with love, they really know. And even if you're rebuking somebody in love, they know that's okay. No, this is why the boss. And even if the person in particular is trying to be emotional, the people that they are following will tell, or probably that they are working together, and say, no, Nana, you misbehave or something like that. You get? So the major way I've come to realize is that try as much as possible to let them know that there is love in this place or something like that. So literally, like if you're a boss,
love is actually the one basic word that means a lot to everybody.
Right.
Like my dad used to say, he said the only way you can take a person as your slave, something like that, is to show the person love. Like the person will legitimately follow you anyway.
No, honestly.
There is nothing that you want to do or the person will not follow you. Okay, that brings me to my last.
Your dad must be a wise man. Oh my god, like
he's a wise man.
Oh, he is obviously.
Okay, so for another question, how do there are some leaders that actually exist that they don't welcome innovative ideas. Speaking of, because it's not theirs, that type of thing. There are different type of there are different type of people. I mean, there are different personality traits. They have different ways they approach things. So those type of bosses that don't welcome innovative ideas, that there's no how, and you as a person, you want to obviously grow yourself, you want to grow your career, you want to grow your professionalism. So how do you think, like, as a person that is ready to be a future leader, you are seeing that type of trait from someone that you hold in actually high esteem? So if you are seeing that type of trait, and what can you advise to such a young person? Yeah.
Honestly, the first thing is that let's even talk about that boss. The major issue that is causing that thing is, I used to call it, is an ego issue. And it's a childhood issue. Probably those bosses didn't get recognition that they needed when they were much younger. Like they didn't get that love and that care from parents. That so whatever they do, the mother is like, oh my son, you did very well in this or something. So they were not recognized. So immediately they become a boss. They want to be the Lord and Savior of all. You understand? That is the thing. So what I would just advise you that is on that, you are not going to be under someone forever.
Yeah.
You understand? So one of the major things you try to do is that I call those leaders take all the glory leader. Like whatever you're doing, even if you want to probably pass an idea, you don't say boss, I have this idea. You say, boss, there's this thing you were talking about the other day, and this is what I also feel that to add to that thing that you said, he himself knows that he didn't say anything
related
you
to that.
related to that, but let him take the glory. Boss, it was that idea, sir, that you said something, but you may not say it directly, boss, but this was what I thought you were saying. You understand? So even when you are talking about it amidst the people that is leading, or which you are part of it also, or in a meeting, you're like, there was something boss said there that I loved, that I think if we implement here would actually work. So you are trying to probably robe everything to him, that take all the glory, since we know you that is it. That is
what you want.
That is the kind of leader you are. Take all the glory, leader. We will give it to you. But this is what you are now doing. You are building your leadership capacity. You understand? You're building your leader, because when that thing runs and it works, it's your idea. Deep inside, it's your idea. So okay, this is how this thing works here. This is how this thing works here. You are already building your portfolio. What are you doing there? You are building your portfolio in that organization. That's what you're doing. You understand? So whatever you're doing is just to make sure that you get to let it work. You understand? And the best way you can do it is to make sure that just understand your boss. Okay, this is the kind of boss he is. My boss is take all the glory, boss. You understand? Then you give it to him. Boss, you are doing this. Boss, this, that, state it out. You just let him know. You understand? But at the end of the day, you have gotten the necessary experience. By the time you are going to another organization, and I've come to realize something, the organization you are starting from, they don't really rep you, or they don't hype you like that. But by the time you're leaving the organization, you are a big name. Not necessarily a big name or something, because you have a whole lot of experiences in your hand now. So you get faster.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So do you have any last thing to say, like to advise young people out there who want to be leaders obviously they call, when we were in school that time, they always say leaders of tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow is part of our vision and mission statement. So in order to be leaders, I'm sure there are some things that as young people that you need to know. So what are some things that you can tell us?
Wow, this is I love this question. So one of the major things I would just love to say to every youth out there who is aspiring to lead, is that try as much as possible to to understand that there are people that have gone ahead of you. I always say don't implement there is this thing that they always say, that don't implement a new wheel. You understand? New wheel, WHEEL. You understand? Why not just work with the wheel that is already there, so that you can run faster? You understand? Like, instead of you have your car already, just work with the wheel that is already there, instead of trying to implement that. It takes a whole lot of this. So try to work with the idea, or probably with what is already stated as a leader. Don't try to do it all by yourself or something like that. The other thing I would also try to say is that leverage on people's skill, leverage on people's ability. And one of the major things I've come to realize as a leader is that the people that are really taking over the world, were not necessarily the best. Some of them even had strongest fighters. I mean, the person that took over Istanbul, like I said, had machineries, people that were better than him as a fighter or something like that. So that's what's basically I'm just saying, that try as much as possible to leverage on other people's skill and other people's the same.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. It's a wonderful time always with you. You teach, you inspire, you just say things that make someone. Now I'm going to think about my life.
No, no, it's not up to that.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me in the studio today,
Thank you
actually,
so much.
Mr.
Thank you
Richard.
so much.
And that's all for Ajuwaya on ABN Radio and Television. And as you have heard, as an aspiring leader, make sure you have that trust. Like, just let people trust you very well before you can think of telling them about your visions and things that you want to accomplish. Because if they don't trust you, they will not give you anything that you will need in order to grow. We'll see you same time, same station next week. Bye for now.